Hey, what's going on, team? It is Ricky with Techbud Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. And for all those that are asking right now, I'm going to give it a couple of seconds because I know people are still tuning on in. So one of my first requests, if it's okay for me to ask, feel free to refresh your page right now just to make sure that everything goes smoothly with our live stream. But for all those that are asking and that are tuning in for the first time, yes, the market is closed tomorrow in observance of Labor Day, right? So just something that I want to make sure that you guys are all aware of. These Sunday stock talks are still something that we host every single Sunday, and I just wanted to make sure that we stay according to schedule regardless of the market being closed tomorrow. So one of the things that I simply want to remind you is Slick Rick with the fresh cut. What's going on, Nish? So one of the things that I simply want to remind you is instead of 5 days, we're given 4 opportunities next week, right? To be as selective as possible to make the most out of those 4 days, right? It doesn't mean that you have to trade every single day, especially if an opportunity does not present itself. But I'm really looking forward to, just having a productive and effective week, to say the least. Last week was a very inefficient week for me. Feel free to watch the videos that I recap every single day. I had 2 green days. Monday, I made a little bit over 2,300. Tuesday, I think I did like 15 or 1,600. Wednesday, I had a huge loss. Thursday, I had another big, or I had just a regular loss. And then Friday, ended it on a green note. But altogether, just it was a rough week, to say the least. The market, in my experience, and not just in my experience, it was just what I was trading and what I was focusing on. The market was really choppy, and there's no excuse for it, though. That's what I was focusing on. I made a lot of mistakes. I wasn't managing my risk accordingly, and it happens, right? Like, you guys always ask, like, how do you stay so consistent? Like, sometimes you're just like, you're working really well with the market, right? You're having like your moments for maybe a short period of time. But trust me, if anything can slap you back into place and to remind you that there's no such thing as a perfect trader, it's definitely the stock market. So I just wanted to say what's up. I really do appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy Sunday, right? It sounds like a lot of you guys were pretty much just relaxing. So I'm going to say what's up to everyone that's tuning in. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, welcome. We host these every single Sunday, but I'm going to say what's up to everyone that's tuning in right now. So what's going on, Andrew? What's going on, Tahir? What's going on, Marcelo? What's going on, Alex, Dante, Richard? I appreciate you guys all tuning in. So what's going on, George? What's going on, George from Miami? I like that. Chris. So are you worried about the tariffs at all? I tried to watch all your videos, but I don't think that you've brought it up, or maybe I missed it. I have brought it up, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I wouldn't say that I'm worried about it. It should just empower you to be that much more selective. What's going on, Nicholas? What's going on, Darwin? Jonathan, Rapid Trader, there we go. Julio. What, the whole team here. I like it. I like it. So what's going on, Joseph, David? Sweet. Just enrolled in Learn Plan Profit. What's going on, Brandon? Welcome to the team. There we go. What's going on, Steven? Oh, man. It's going in. It's passing by so quickly that I can't see all the names. What's going on, Hassan? Rich Dawson, Goss. I appreciate it. So if you guys could do me the biggest favor, if you guys are excited for this week, we would really appreciate the thumbs up and the like in this video. It really helps out our YouTube channel, especially for this specific video. We want to reach as many people as possible and just preparing them for the overall week. So if that's okay for me to ask, if you think that we've earned it, we would really appreciate the thumbs up. Also, we've been getting a bunch of text messages. I still have my phone connected to it, so I ended up getting a new phone. I lost my phone on Friday. And if you guys have any trading related questions, if you guys are interested in joining Techbud Solutions, which is our free Facebook group, if you guys want to join Learn Plan Profit, which is our private group, it's actually down below. You guys can feel free to refresh the page. I've been messaging a couple of you back and forth. Feel free to send me a text and we can kind of go from there. So what's going on, Alex? Hello from Gilbert. How did you lose your phone? I don't know. I just ended up losing, so I don't really there's no easy way to put it, but I lost my phone. I lost my wallet because my phone is my wallet, right? So my ID and everything. But I like it. So, all right, let's go ahead and just get started. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I am looking at. And I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. And let's have some fun, right? It's still the weekend. Let's have some fun. Let's enjoy the process. And let's try to be respectful to everyone. I know that we're getting a lot of FAQs, which mean frequently asked questions. We have a lot of new traders joining us for the past 2 to 3 weeks. All I want to remind you is that we all started from knowing nothing. So if you see that there's a very beginner based question, empower them to be self-sufficient. Don't tell them that they're doing something right or wrong. They don't know any better. We're here to make a change, right? We're here to be a difference. And if you can't help someone out that is still in the very early stages, just please try to point them in the right direction. I think that's the best thing that we can do. You don't have to tell them what to do, but just point them in the right direction. So how often do you go live for Learn, Plan, Profit? Every day, Monday through Friday, when the market's open. So tomorrow, market's not open, I won't be going live. I'm actually traveling to Hawaii tomorrow. So all of next week, I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be in Hawaii. So I'm really excited to be able to share my experience with you guys. And we got a really cheap trip there and back. It's very inexpensive. So I'll be probably talking about that because you guys know I'm all about getting good deals and when it makes sense. Just because you have money doesn't mean that you have to spend it. So let's go ahead and get started. For all those that are going to be asking, this is the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. It's the platform that I use. It's not the one that you have to use. There's so many amazing platforms out there. All I ask you to do is to dedicate time to learn a little bit more about them to see which one's the best fit for you. So I'm ready for your ticker callouts. You guys let me know what it is that you want me to break down. And again, they have to be in that ticker callout format. So what's going on, Tyler? Tyler is asking me to break down BAC. This is on the 1 day, 1 minute chart. Here we go, 180-day analysis. I actually want you guys, if it's okay for me to ask, for us to do these breakdowns together, right? Here we go. So BAC, we could see that we almost formulated this like double bottom for what it is, right? Overall, it's been a descending pattern. It formulated this double bottom. One of the things that I want to point out, and again, I'm just here to share my opinion on both the good and the bad. I like that it's uptrending, right? I'm going to talk about some of the attractive things. I like that the EMA line is pointing up. I like that it's showing signs of an uptrend. It's been showing signs of growth for the past week. Overall direction, not so good. Now, this is what I find to be very important. Again, I'm a deal hunter, and yes, big picture, it looks like a good deal. But if the market continues to correct itself, and then the market, if it continues to sell off, which is 100% right, it wouldn't surprise you if that were to happen. Look at the MACD and look at the RSI. Although it is uptrending, it looks based off of recent patterns, not overall patterns, right? Recent patterns. It looks like it's a little bit more on the overextended side. So I think that this, again, is not the best deal with where it's at right now. If anything, if you think that it's going to continue to uptrend, look how it's been trending. It's been bouncing off the EMA line. I would wait for confirmation, but in my honest opinion, based off of how it's been trading, I would expect this thing to begin to pull back and to begin to break below the EMA line and then continue to sell off. So I don't know what's going to happen, and confirmation is key, right? But just as much as it could go up, it could 100% go down. So I just find it to be based off of current patterns to be a little bit more on the overextended side. So again, I pointed out the MACD, I pointed out the RSI. These are indicators that I use. You don't have to use them. I just use them as references. I never trade 100% off of them. So please understand that, yes, overall, big picture, it is oversold. But based off of current market conditions and how things have been trading and been so inconsistent and choppy, I would just not risk it. It's just, if it does continue to uptrend, then wait for that direction. But most likely, based off of, previous highs, you can see why it can begin to pull back and continue to descend. So I really do appreciate the call out. I just think it's a little bit more on the overbought side than it is on the oversold side. So overall SMA line is trending down. Good point on that. I didn't even point that out. So overall, it's been descending, right? I just think that because of the current market condition, I'm just a little weary of it, right? Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So will Hurricane Dorian affect anything in the market, and what are your thoughts? That's probably something that I can talk about a little bit later, Chris, if it's okay. I still need to read a little bit more about it, but 100%, there are certain steps that people are taking when it comes down to companies and especially for a lot of commodities that I trade, shutting down certain wells, right? In the East Coast, especially in that Florida area. So that's something that I can talk about a little bit later. A lot of people that watch me don't trade ETFs, so it wouldn't necessarily be a value, but I'll probably talk to the Learn, Plan, Profit group about it, and if people want me to share more about it, for those that care about my opinion, I can definitely do that. So let's go SCO way. Here we go. So we got Lulu Lemon. Huge shout out to Nathan for we joke around with Nathan. Well, Nathan just became a partner with them. So but he loves Lululemon. So here we go. LU. Overall, it's been an uptrend pattern. What can I get your guys' honest opinion about this? How do you guys feel about Lulu on the 180-day chart? Can we say one positive thing and one maybe what you don't find to be attractive about it? I want to hear both sides. I think that we can both say either an attractive thing or maybe a reason why you don't find it attractive, right? Can we share both sides, right? So overall, it's been uptrending on the 180-day chart. It's been showing signs of higher highs, right? Too high, too overbought. Attractive is higher highs. I like that. Yep. The choppiness. I agree that there's some form of inconsistency, right? That's what we mean by choppy. I know that phrase and that it's kind of like slang, right? What we mean by that is it's just been inconsistent. It's been overall uptrending, but the lows and the highs are a little bit different, right? Growth is slowing down. That's what I really wanted. Good job, Cyrus. That's really what I wanted to focus on. So it's been showing signs of an uptrend. It's been having really nice pushes, but you guys can see kind of, and this is something that I pay a lot of attention to, and huge shout out to anyone that does as well. I mean, if it makes sense to you, but I like to see the progression at the way that something grows. And you'll notice, this is not 100%, but you'll notice as something begins to approach a resistance, the rate in which it begins to grow begins to slow down. It begins to almost formulate this kind of like horizontal pattern. That's almost what we've been seeing for the past 2 to 3 months. I'm not saying 100% that it's bound to pull back. I'm just saying that the slope has not been growing, right? At the same rate. It's been having really nice pushes up. It consolidates, pulls back, then has really nice pushes up. It's just kind of been consolidating for the past 2.5 months. And now we're almost showing signs of a resistance right around the SMA line. I would just be very wary of that. Also with the RSI and the MACD, it looks like it's showing signs of potential pullback before it continues to push up. So that's maybe more based off of relevant patterns. So I would be aware and make sure that the margin of profit is worth it for you in comparison to everything else out there. And one of the last things that I want to remind you is that and this is for everyone. This goes for everyone. You literally have the ability to trade whatever you want. Think about this. I don't think enough people think about this. You literally have the ability, right? Well, based off of what market you're a part of, right? I mean, I guess you can't, if you're in the UK, you can't trade ETFs. But you have the ability to trade whatever you want, right? And we're covering a very, small part of what it is that the market has to offer during these live streams. But the whole purpose of this is to empower you to be selective. And what does that mean? For those that are just getting started, you have the ability to trade whatever you want. And just like this one, Lulu offers a 3% margin, right? 3 to 4%. That's attractive, but it's there's a lot of things that I personally didn't like about this one, and that's why I wouldn't trade it, right? But there's sometimes that you'll come across a stock that literally offers a very attractive amount of margin of profit, and it has that ideal setup, whatever that looks like for you, and just everything is aligning. What I want to empower you to do is, even now more than ever, in comparison to how the market's been so inconsistent, to be empowered to be selective, to be empowered to be picky, right? To not just say yes to everything and copy other people or trade what everyone else is trading. I find it, and this is just me, and I know that if you've ever shared your opinion with me about a stock, I praise you for it. I really find it attractive when other traders, right, within TechBot Solutions or Learn Plan Profit, simply just if I share why I like a stock, when they're like, well, I like this one more and this is why. When people are opinionated, when people have their own eye for value, it doesn't mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't mean that they're right or wrong or that I'm right or wrong, right? It's not about that. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what other people that are part of your team. We are here to share ideas and to hear one another out. It doesn't always have to be what it is that you say or you see. It's just be empowered to be open-minded. But at the end of the day, don't ever take a trade based off of someone else's suggestion. If something was so guaranteed, then again, it would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where that just realistically is not realistic, right? Now more than ever, I just want to remind you, if there's any way that we can kickstart September on a positive note, is I want to empower you guys all to be selective. Be extremely selective, say more no than you do yes, and just like an investment opportunity, right, or a business opportunity, you're not going to say yes to everything that's thrown at you. So it's the same things with these trades, right? Yeah, you might find certain qualities about a setup attractive, but does it meet all your criteria? That's the only tangent that I'll go on in this video. I just really wanted to make sure that you guys understand kind of like that mindset. I think that if there's anything that I really want to share with you guys this week, I really would appreciate if you were to take time to maybe consider that mindset. So let's go ahead and do the Edgar, DIS. Let's do it. So this is Disney. A lot of people have been talking about Disney, right, because of how it's been performing. It's been showing signs of an uptrend. Cool. Now, I already know what people are going to say about this one. And first, let's say one positive thing and one negative thing about why or why not. Would you trade this? Overall, Disney, it was showing signs of an uptrend, and it began to really consolidate around this general area. Broke below the overall SMA line. Previous support was the SMA line, right? You guys could all see this. And then now, what is it acting like, right? Overall, SMA line is now acting as a resistance. It's been making lower lows and lower highs. And I can 100% see why people, based off of last week's performance, would then find it attractive. It moved up quite a bit, right? Based off of how low it was and how it pushed up, it moved about 4 to 5%. It probably popped up in a couple of your guys' scanners. I think that's great. It meets a lot of people's criteria. All I just want to remind you is old support levels can become new resistance levels. Patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't have to. And although it did push up, look at the MACD, look at the RSI, and just look at what can act as a resistance, the SMA line, and how this thing is potentially in the very early stages of this thing selling off, right? Also being able to look at the overall market condition with like /NQ, which is the NASDAQ future. All I want to remind you is, just like I said last time, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't have to, right? But we're really approaching this SMA line. And based off of previous patterns, it's been doing a very good job getting rejected. So we're deal hunters. We're here to buy when it makes sense and it's a good deal and the direction's in our favor. And we're here to lock in profits and sell and stay away and be patient when it's a little bit more on the overbought side or until the direction is a little bit more clear, right? There's nothing wrong with that. DIS, in my opinion, is a little bit more on the overbought side than it is on the oversold. And because of that, I would personally find it to maybe not be as attractive. That's all. That's on the technical side. Or on the fundamental side, they might be amazing. But as of right now, it's just not as attractive to me. What's going on, Kyle? I appreciate you tuning in. Here we go. So Tahir is calling out AZUL. AZUL. So again, I do appreciate all of you guys tuning in as well. And I know that tomorrow is like Labor Day. So first of all, for those that are just tuning in and maybe didn't catch the first part of this video, market is closed tomorrow. So Monday, market is closed. We only have 4 days, 4 opportunities to make the most of it. So, that's definitely something that I want to make sure everyone's aware of. So AZUL overall was showing signs of an uptrend, aggressively pulled back and sold off. It's in the very early stages, if anything, for a potential reversal. I think that we can all agree on that. Yeah, it can continue to push up. The direction is not super clear. It pushed up very quickly, and usually when something pushes up very quickly, in my experience, it could pull back and correct itself that much quicker, right? So let's kind of go with the flow. There's 3 things that I like to take into consideration. One of those being, how attractive is the margin of profit, right? Do I really think that I'm going to be able to sell at 43.14? Realistically, no. Let's set a more realistic based off of previous patterns. Let's say around this $38 price point, that's about 5 to 6%. That's from the low end, right? And that means that we can still give it time for it to consolidate. So I find the margin of profit to be attractive. I find, the recent push to be attractive. The thing is that there's not a super clear direction. This thing was aggressively descending, and it could 100% form a resistance here and then continue to sell off. So just as much as it could go up, I would be just that much more weary of this thing potentially pulling back. So I'm gonna set my alarm. I'm gonna set my alerts here. So I'm just gonna right click, set these here, and then set one right here as well. Also, if you guys are just tuning in and you guys think that we earned it, we'd really appreciate the thumbs up if that's all right with you guys. That's my breakdown on this. I would give this a little bit more time. I would say that, if anything, the Learn Plan Profit Group is very familiar with this kind of phrase, but this would be at a critical point where it still has to identify its true direction. Are we going to continue to push up, or are we going to sell off and do that stuff? Thumbs up for my hero. What's going on, Lido? Appreciate you. Thank you again for tuning in. So Gabriel, I'm not too sure why your ticker was not showing, but there it goes. So PAYS. Let's go ahead. We literally have been breaking down PAYS for the past maybe month, every single week. One of the things that I want to point out is that Desmond Little, what's going on? Desmond, you sound very, you have like a very like, I don't know, I feel like I've either heard that name before. I don't know if I think we were talking about it a couple days ago that your name just sounded so familiar. But yeah, just want to say what's up and thank you for your time. So Shane, love your content. Oh, appreciate you guys. You guys are so nice today. PAYS. What can you guys help me out with this one? I just wanted to get your guys' input. What do you guys think about this one? A positive thing and maybe something that you don't find attractive about it. What's an attractive thing about this? What's not an attractive thing about this? So how do you post in the ticker call out format? So Ismail should be posting the ticker call outs, the format in just a little bit. So you post about every minute. There it goes. So below the SMA line, below the EMA line, right? All that stuff. What's going on, Yusuf? Okay, so I want to say one attractive thing about this and one maybe not so attractive thing about this. One of the attractive things about this is because it's been such a consistent, right? I can see why, because the overall direction has on the 180-day 4-hour chart, it's been an overall uptrend. So the overall direction it's an uptrend. So people think that because it's sold off and it's around a general area where it normally bounces at, that this is a really good deal, which then this you can buy here and then you can later sell here. And trust me, like I get that, but like we've said, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't have to. And because the market has been so inconsistent, I think that we can all agree that if there has ever been a time to be patient and wait for confirmation of an uptrend, now has been the time. Now is the time, right? So you can see all my alerts are being set here. It's trading below the overall EMA line, below the SMA line, and yes, it could 100% push up, but I would rather partake in a trade where all the action is happening, not when it's like about to happen or before it happens. How many of you guys have gotten into a position maybe a little bit too early? That's kind of what I would consider, why I would avoid being an inefficient trader, right? I want to avoid getting in too early, waiting for this thing to consolidate, to maybe sell off a little bit more, and then a month from now actually begin to push up. I would rather set my alerts, wait for it to begin to make higher highs, and if and when it does, then I'll go in. Until then, I'm going to be patient and I'm gonna be a little bit more disciplined. So I think that's an attractive quality that a lot of people can value, right? So I can 100% see value in the overall pattern, overall direction, why people right now find it attractive, and the margin of profit. But altogether, just because it has bounced before doesn't mean that it has to. So I hope that that's something that makes sense to you guys. So what's going on, Armando? PBR. Here we go, PBR. Okay, so again, another thing. So overall descending pattern, right? Look at the MACD, look at the RSI, look a little bit more on the overextended side, especially with this very aggressive, right? One of the things that I want to point out, very aggressive descending pattern of making lower lows and lower highs. And again, none of this, I just want you guys to be able to see kind of like what I view it as like a funnel, right? And this thing is funneling down. It's a downtrend pattern, downward staircase. You guys can call it whatever it is, whatever makes the most sense to you and whatever sticks. Right now, it's been such a consistent descending pattern. It's not making higher highs. It has not been, for the past week, it's been showing signs of an uptrend, but all it's doing, it's recovering from the aggressive sell-off that it had. And overall, the direction, it's been selling off, right? So if you were to buy here and sell here, is that how you want your account to look like? No, you don't want to partake in descending patterns. Can you make money on descending patterns? Of course. It's just a little bit more difficult for you to identify the low points and the high points, and the overall direction is not in your favor, right? If you focus on something that's uptrending, right? And you get in maybe at not the best price point, but because the overall direction is in your favor, and as long as that pattern and that direction continues, then guess what? You just have to give it time and it will most likely, make higher highs and continue to uptrend because you did what? You set yourself up for success by at least focusing on stocks that are showing signs of growth. I know a lot of you. I know that there's at least one of you, right? There's at least one of you watching right now that can agree with me that you've been focusing a lot on descending patterns. You're always trying to buy the dip and you've just been draining your account. One thing to test, paper trade, simulation trade. I'm not even asking you with real money. Practice, test it, and see if you focus on getting a good deal, the overall direction to be in your favor, and for it to be an uptrend pattern. And of course, making sure that the margin of profit is attractive. Practice it. See if it works for you. If it does, maybe you can branch off from that and develop your own trading style. But I think those are good principles to build off of. And that's just, again, my opinion. But just as much as it could go up, I think that it could go down. And I'm going to set my alert right here. So we are at 6 breakdowns. I'm going to do 4 more. 6 breakdowns. Let's do 4 more. Here we go. What's going on, Hugh? So we got INTC. INTC. Here we go. Alrighty, we have a lot of dip buyers this week. So overall sell-off, yeah, that makes sense. I can see why there's a lot of consolidation. Overall SMA line acting as a resistance. We're not really making higher highs. We're almost at previous highs. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI. It just doesn't look like the best deal or like there's a break-of pattern here. It looks like, again, it's just here like it was before, and then it sells off again. So if anything, it's more on the overbought side than it is on the oversold with, looking at previous highs and how it's been consistently getting rejected there. So I'm going to set my alert there, and until it breaks above the SMA line and ultimately, right, not just current patterns. Past week, yeah, I can see why it popped up in probably a couple of your guys' scanners, but overall direction is not an uptrend, at least not on the past 180-day chart. So I'm going to set my alerts here, try to set myself up for success, and make sure that, I get a good deal, but most importantly, that the overall direction is in my favor. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. What's going on, Joseph? It's a very clean, what's it called, cover picture. Here we go, ULTA. Alrighty, Ulta Beauty. Oh, this is huge sell. First of all, this has to do, I think, more with, This would have to do more with the fundamentals. I don't know what was shared during its earnings that caused there to be a huge sell-off. This goes beyond technicals. On the technical side, it literally dropped 30%. Think about that. A company lost 30% of its, worth, right, in the stock market in one day. There has to be a huge reason for that. And I'm empowering you to do this, right? This is what I would do. If I find ULTA in any way attractive, because of this huge sell-off, I'm not going to just focus on technicals. There's a fundamental reason on probably why it sold off so aggressively. And because of that, I would look into it. I would see if it still makes sense to, want to consider to trade it, or if something with like a Chapter 11 bankruptcy was released, something that can be detrimental to the overall company. If that was released and can continue, if there can be continuous bleeding, meaning that it just continues to lose in value, then this could be in the very early stages of, a potential, company that goes bankrupt. So altogether, I just want to remind you that, it looks like a potential dip buy. There's no clear direction. There's no indication of a recovery. I'll set my alerts for what it's worth. But as of right now, if you find this to be a value, I would look a little bit more into it to first understand what caused the sell-off, then to try to understand if it's going to be detrimental to the overall company and stuff like that. So Ulta, I think. Okay, it looks like there's a couple different reasons on why it might have sold off. So I don't know why, but I would look into it if you were to even consider it to be something that's a value, right? Here we go. So Johnny Films is calling out ticker symbol SHOP. Here it goes. Ooh, where are all my drop shippers? What do you guys think about this? Can I get some opinions on this? Some thoughts. SHOP. Maybe one attractive thing and maybe one not so attractive thing about this. How many of you guys were aware of Shopify? Anything? This looks sexy. I like it. Okay, consistent uptrend, recent sell-off. Yep. Very aware, strong uptrend. Right? Direction selling off. Okay. Overbought maybe. Consistent uptrend. Buy when it hits moving average. All right. Shop for long term. Very strong. Right? Need to wait. All right. I like it. One of the things that I want to remind you is that it's even been a very consistent uptrend pattern, even with overall market conditions, right? It just kind of like expresses it's almost the stability, right? Or the power of such a powerful company. I think Shop is been absolutely killing, especially with all the hype behind drop shipping and stuff like that. I think it just adds to the fuel, right? Overall, direction, no question. I think it's one of the first things, right? Like if anyone has a Robinhood account, I don't, right? But if you did, and you were to look at your 1 year chart and it were to look something like this, you would find that to be attractive, right? So first of all, the direction, the pattern, all that's attractive. Literally, there's almost not one time that it's broken, maybe for like a day, right? Or for 4 hours. It broke below the SMA line, but overall, it's been a very consistent uptrend pattern. The SMA line has been a great indicator based off of previous patterns for potential support. So you can see my alerts there. One of the things that you can begin to see is that, even recently, it hasn't even been touching the SMA line because it's been uptrending so aggressively. So I would just really set my alerts here. Make sure that the direction is in your favor, we get confirmation, and that you find the margin of profit to be attractive enough. I can definitely see why a lot of people would see value in not just like day trading. Like day trading is one thing, right? And that's what I do. But if you don't have time for day trading and you see value in investing, and there's a company in which you believe in and it makes sense and it's been showing signs of growth, if anything, Shopify has been one of those companies that I've been super aware of them, of how they've just been absolutely killing it. And it's so cool to see, right? It's so cool to see something to be so consistent. And you guys know that I'm a huge fanboy of that. So there we go. So I really do appreciate that call out. So here we go. Daniel's calling out ticker symbol ED. Here we go. Ticker symbol ED. Just like we said before, there's been times where it it's in the very early stages of changing direction. It's been showing signs of an uptrend. It then broke below the overall SMA line. It recently pushed back above, but overall it's been doing a lot of consolidation here. Based off of where it's at right now, this is the only thing that I want to leave you with about this stock. Based off of where it's at right now and based off of previous highs, the margin of profit is 1%. Can it continue to grow? Yes, but based off of previous highs, the opportunity cost, right, the margin of profit is 1%. And because of that, I don't find that to be attractive enough to buy and hope that I hold and sell, because I can do that in a day with just simply day trading. So because of that, yeah, the patterns, whatever, right? But that's my number one thing. It doesn't meet all my criteria. So I simply wanted to share with you on why it's like that. So or why I think that it's not the most attractive, right? So here we go. Samuel is calling out ticker symbol RIO. Here it goes, RIO. Okay, overall, aggressive descending pattern. Looks like it's trying to form this overall reversal. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI. I'm not a huge fan of these anymore. I used to when I tried to trade a little bit more aggressively. It's been a very consistent aggressive sell-off, and now it looks overbought. Again, if you think that it's going to continue to uptrend, at least do your part in getting in for a good deal. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI. If anything, I would wait for this thing to pull back, correct itself, consolidate around the EMA line if it even bounces there, and then if it actually continues to show signs of an uptrend, then go in there. Until then, I would just be very weary of how aggressively this thing has been selling off. I would even look more into what caused that initial sell-off and that very consistent descending pattern. So I'm going to do 2 more breakdowns and then we'll call it a live stream. I also do want to remind you that if you're part of Learn, Plan, Profit or TechBud Solutions in our Discord chat, all you have to do is, if you're part of TechBuds, you can post it in the watch list section and just simply tag me. Make sure you post it in the ticker call out format, or if you're part of Learn, Plan, Profit, post it in the watch or group alerts, right? And then tag me as well. So we have a lot of people, and I really do appreciate all of you, right? Calling out different stocks. I just want to remind you, and I see you, you just continue to post it in not the format, and I won't break it down. So here we go. So it has to be in the format or I won't break it down for you. Again, if you're not able to help yourself, how do you expect me to help you, right? Or just even assist you? If you haven't done your own due diligence, how do you expect anyone to take time out of their day when you won't do even that part for yourself? Do you get what I mean? And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just want you to be empowered to, just dedicate time to put in the work. I think keeping it that simple is fun. Here it goes. So CDIX, here it goes. Very aggressive descending pattern overall. What is it? OTC stock? Yeah, I would completely stay away from that one. I don't even want to really break that one down. NB, what is that? NBRV. Appreciate you for posting the ticker call out format. Yeah. All right. So it's a therapeutics company. I'm not a huge fan of that, right? Here we go. All right, yeah. Overall SMA line, it's a very aggressive descending pattern. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI. Do you see how it's been showing signs of a sell-off after it peaked out? It's in the very early stages of continuously pushing back down. And because of that, I would just say that, again, we're talking about the top stocks that we see valuing this week. And right now, this is showing signs of a descending pattern. Because of that, I wouldn't be breaking it down. So market is closed tomorrow. That is correct. LABD. Let's see if we can end it strong. LABD, here it goes. Right, the inverse of LABD is LABU, right? So overall, MACD looks like it's around in its favor. With these, I would look at them a little bit closer. Just in my experience, I find the shorter time frames to be a little bit more attractive. So I can definitely see on the 20-day 1-hour chart, being able to see that the overall SMA line has been trying to act as a support. I would set my alerts and just make sure that the price action follows, that the overall direction is in your favor. So yeah, it looks like it's sold off. It's consolidating around the SMA line. If it continues to make higher highs and begin to indicate signs of an uptrend, what's the margin of profit? 7-8%. That's not bad, right? But that would be for a swing trade. I wouldn't really want to swing trade this. So out of all that, I would be very efficient with, even if I can capture the 1 or 2% within the day, I would capture those all day, just lock it in and call it a day. And as long as it continues to flow, then I'll, continue to go with the flow until it becomes overbought, overextended. And then from LABD, switch on over to LABU and see if we get confirmation on that. So thanks, Ricky. Good vibes to keep. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that. AMD. So here it goes. And this one, I'm going to go a little bit further back. So, yep, very early stages of it getting rejected. Do you see that? Look at the MACD, look at the RSI, look at previous rejections, 1, 2. Patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't have to, but it would make sense on why this thing can continue to sell off. Just like the market and just like a lot of these other different stocks that are being presented right now. They're very overbought, very overextended, and they're following the market very closely. And the market right now is a little bit more on the overextended side based off of recent patterns. I would set my alerts here, and I think that it's going to begin to pull back as long as the technicals stick. Obviously, if something is tweeted or some news is shared, and it drives the price up and breaks that pattern, right, for whatever the news is, then obviously, we'll see AMD push up and stuff like that. But until then, just off of technicals, I think it makes sense for overall market conditions to continue to follow. So yeah, overall, a lot of you guys were asking me about Tesla because of its performance last week, of how it tried to aggressively push up and stuff like that due to all that news. SMA line's been acting as resistance. Just look at it. Does it look like a good deal based off of recent patterns? It's been very inconsistent. It looks now overbought based off of recent patterns on this descending pattern. So can it continue to push up? Of course, anything can happen. Will it most likely sell off? In my opinion, I think that it will. On the technical side, it's just look at the MACD, look at the RSI. I think it's again in the very early stages of a sell-off. But 100%, no one knows the future. So what can we do? Simply wait for confirmation. So, yeah, I'm gonna the breakdowns. So this is what I want to ask you guys. So if you guys want me to break down, I broke down like 12 stocks in this live stream. So if you guys want my 2 cents on what I think about whatever stock you see value in, I'm gonna have a lot of time tomorrow because I'm gonna be traveling to Hawaii. So all I ask you is, if you're part of our TechBot Solutions or Learn Plan Profit Discord chat, just post it if you can. Please don't forget to tag me in the group alerts or watch list channel. By doing that and tagging me, I will spend time all day tomorrow. The market's closed, so I will share my 2 cents about what I think about that. I need it to be in the ticker call out format. And I actually got there's like right now we have Mike that's saying like an inappropriate phrase because he gets upset that I don't break down his stock during the live stream because all he does is post the ticker call out. At the end of the day, people as irrelevant as Mike, it's so sad to see people not be able to invest time into their work, right? If these markets were so simple and so easy, then people like Mike then would be successful. But it's not like that. It takes time, it takes hard work, and I think that we can all agree that everything worth having does not and should not come easy. It's rewarding when you accomplish things, right? Because it did not come easy. So all I want to remind you is to not be like Mike this week, right? To dedicate time, to work hard, to not be lazy, and to put in the effort, to be the best person that you can be, to make sure that you are empowered, that, when you do make it, even in the smallest form, right? Even if you make an extra $100 a month, regardless of what it is, that it's rewarding and that it feels like you earned it, not that you just got lucky. Remember, don't be like Mike and make things happen. I think that's a good way to do it. So I actually don't know Mike. I'm just picking on him because he used a derogatory word towards a certain group of people. So at the end of the day, enjoy the process, surround yourself with people that, empower you and make you the best person that you can be, and just enjoy the process. As long as you're enjoying what it is that you're doing, as long as you're learning new things and surrounding yourself with this environment that just empowers you to be the best person that you can be, I think that that is time worth spending and investing in yourself. I appreciate you guys' time, but again, I was just trying to make a joke of that irrelevant person and having fun while doing so. So I really do appreciate you guys' time. I wish you guys an absolute amazing Labor Day, right? Hope you guys enjoy the time off. Hopefully you guys can utilize that extra time to maybe learn something new or make someone smile that day, right? And for all those that are in the East Coast, for all those in Florida, prayers go out to you guys, and for those that might be affected by the Hurricane Dorian, right? I believe. Absolutely crazy. Please don't forget, if you feel like I earned it, only if you feel like I earned it, we would really appreciate the thumbs up. If you guys have any questions about joining our team, if you're interested in being able to watch me trade live, and if you just want to stay connected, feel free to send me a text. My phone number is down below. Feel free to refresh this page if you don't see the phone number, and we can go from there. So so I really do appreciate you guys' time. Be selective, be productive, be efficient, and again, don't be afraid to make mistakes, but make sure that there's a reason behind everything that you do, because again, one of two things: you'll either profit from it or you'll learn from it. And I think that those two outcomes are at least something that we can both benefit from, right? So appreciate all your guys' time. If you guys have any questions, again, just send me a text or send me a direct message. We still do have those student and veteran discounts for all those that are ready to join our Learn Time Profit team. But whenever you guys are ready, again, just feel free to send me a text, and then we can go from there. Appreciate you guys' time. Like always, continue working hard, continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. So, ¿dónde puedo tomar este curso? What's going on, Marco? So, if you are interested and ready to join the Learn Time Profit team, then that's going to be, I believe, the second or third link down below. It says watch me trade live every day, and that's going to send you on over to our welcome page, where you'll pretty much just be able to see what it is that we have to offer and if it's something that you want to take a part of. So appreciate you guys' time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note.